Hey everybody, happy Tuesday. John Potter, Prospects Director of Player Development. Today we're going to talk about lag and what that means in a golf swing. Okay, so before we talk about lag, I want to talk about sequencing in a golf swing. Okay, and oftentimes, and if you're a student of mine listening, you go, oh yeah, I've heard that. Heard him say that. I liken the golf swing to throwing a baseball, throwing a pitch. Okay, so if you think about a pitcher pushing off the mound here, I'll use this backstop of the putting green here as my mound. It's very unlikely in a pitch, and even in your recollection, if you just visualize what a pitch looks like, you'd say, no, that's not right. But you can either think about your own golf swing or think about golf swings you've seen and say, yeah, I do recognize some poor sequencing, either in my game or somebody else's swing, that you wouldn't notice necessarily in a pitch. So when you think about a pitcher throwing a pitch, they will collect their weight, kind of start down, right, looking at their catcher, and they'll collect the ball. And while they're checking bases, they're going to pull their weight off of their lead foot into their trail foot, okay, and they're going to push off this mound here. That's the first thing they do, is a lateral motion, a push off that trail leg. Now, one thing they're not going to do is stack that hip flat on top of their trail foot. And you won't do that in a golf swing either. If there's a lot of sway back, we can't push forward if our hip is directly on that trail foot, right? So we're going to stay pitched forward slightly so we can push forward quickly, okay? So now that lateral motion forward becomes a rotation pretty quickly. We don't want to slide too far, and we can talk about post and pivot another time. But we're going to push forward, and then it becomes core rotational, okay? So we're going to start uncoiling here with the core. The upper body follows the chest and shoulders. The last thing to come forward is that arm, and I should say actually the last thing to go is that wrist. Okay, if you do things in that order, you amplify energy, right? We're maximizing potential energy by using those levers in a particular order. You won't see a pitcher dump their wrist angle, do this, release the ball, before they've turn their body or thrown their arm right. It would be ridiculous. You turn your 90 or 100 mile an hour fastball into a 20 mile an hour pitch in a hurry. We all know that. So why then, in a golf swing, do we see people sometimes in a great position at the top of their swing do that and then rotate through it? They're dumping all their energy here, right? Casting or flipping or whatever you want to call that. Sometimes it doesn't happen right at the top, but it'll happen early. If you're throwing a pitch, you wouldn't do it that way. Let's not do that way in a golf swing. So there are a couple drills we do with players. And actually, I've got, that's my 7-iron here, but I've got 7-iron with the cap cut off the butt of the grip here so I can shove an alignment stick right down the shaft. We've all seen the Punisher drill before here where if we flip, we get slapped in the side, right? So that forces kind of a holding of the leg and a rotation of the body. That drill works okay, and if you want to try that at home, just hold an alignment stick, or you can cut the cap of the grip off if you want, but just hold an alignment stick underneath the club, and that will allow you to hinge the wrist in the backswing and to unhinge on the downswing, but only to a point and not where that club head gets out in front of the handle. So that's okay for a handle forward type impact position. What it doesn't do a great job of, though, is not forcing that cast at the top. It will allow for some of that. See, I'm still not getting hit. We can still do that and kind of drag the head through and kind of get away with murder, so to speak, when it comes to lag. So here's maybe a better drill, and maybe you've seen this before too. Set up to a wall, normal stance, an arm's length away from the wall, just like that, okay? And don't maybe do this out in the garage or in the basement where the drywall's not finished, or it's not your wife's painted living room wall, okay? We're going to get to the top in a set just like this. We're not going to rotate back, because as we rotate in a backswing, we don't have leg built in. We're increasing wrist hinge as we go, but I would bet and hope in your backswing at this position, maybe position 2, it looks a lot different than it looks on the way down to the ball at that position. So arm's length away. We're going to set and hinge out in front of us like this, rotate to the top, and you're going to start rotating to the ball and not hitting the wall with your club. We don't want to push it down, so go slow. Don't knock a hole in the wall. Okay, so we'll set maybe here in front, rotate to the top, And we're going to work on rotating to the ball here. And you can see how narrow my arc is on the downswing, much narrower than the arc is in the backswing. I would put that club right through that wall there in the backswing, where I'm not going to on the downswings. Okay, so we're going to work from here like this a few times. You can see that club head is a few inches off that wall there. And from there, I can rotate and then push that club head out. And that's that leg, that's that sequencing we're looking for. Last thing to go in the golf swing, just like in a pitch, is that wrist angle. So once you've done that a few times, try it with the golf ball. Sit up to the ball. We'll do the same thing up here. We're going to rotate down to that same position, keeping that club off of the wall behind us, that imaginary wall. Okay. We're going to pause here and make sure everything's good. And then maybe do a little pump and rotate through it. Okay, we're just going to hit shots like that. That felt great. It's going to feel a little funny, maybe the first couple times you do it. Swinging down from here, which is why I'm okay with you getting there and then kind of pumping again for a little momentum. But work on that, okay? Get to the wall, swing down, get the hands kind of to the waist or below the waist without that club head getting pushed through the wall like that. We're going to hold that club head up high, the shaft at kind of a steep angle. Make sure you're in the right spot here when you get to the ball. Kind of rehearse once, we're in a good spot, okay? Pump back up for a little momentum, a little rhythm, and then push it out through the ball. Good luck on that. You're going to start hitting the ball a little farther if you do that well. Yeah, again, good luck. Let me know if you guys have any questions, and I'll see you next week.